Then we have to push it.
Mikko, anyone?
Are we live yet?
We are live, yeah. We have been for the last, that's why I was asking you to introduce the show.
Sorry, I was getting blasted from 4 different computers. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have some extra views for you today, and we're going to watch SpaceX launch NASA's DART mission and see what we can do about maybe learning about how to deflect some asteroids. So let's dive right in. But first, I have someone else joining me today.
I'm Mikko, the host of Deep Dive. Yeah, really interesting mission, so looking forward to seeing launch.
Fabulous. So yeah, we got SpaceX will be live in a little bit, and we should have a NASA feed coming up on screen here any minute now, and you guys will be able to see what's going on over there. And we're gonna be a little bit chill, try to be a little bit excited, have a little bit of fun, do a little bit of arm shaking. We're not going to be eating ice cream today. At least I'm not going to be eating ice cream today.
Nope.
But I do have some coffee, and we're going to enjoy this launch. Hopefully, we will be able to see what's going on there in Vandenberg and not have too much fog. It is a nighttime launch, so it will be a little bit dark. But we should still be able to see what's going on. Looks like we are getting... Yeah, you should be seeing images up above me any second now. And
Yep.
there we go. So yeah, how is everybody today? Do we have any questions from the audience? We are happy to answer your questions. We are also monitoring chat and everything over on Odyssey. So if you're watching there, hello. Yeah, let us know what you think.
We can only display chat from YouTube on the stream, though.
Let's see, I think I can throw something up in chat over there on Odyssey.
To this SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, which you see here, and darts at the top of the rocket. It was then rolled out to the launch pad at Space Launch Complex 4.
Should now have stream
Now
audio.
awaiting liftoff at 10
Jump in the background.
Pacific, 1:21 a.m. Eastern Time.
So it's a little bit early for all of us all here on the Total Space team. It's about 4 hours before my normal wake-up time every morning. And I think 3 hours. Is it 3 hours for you, Mikko?
About 2 hours. So I would be waking up in an hour and a half normally. So it's 7:30 here in Finland, but usually I wake up at 9.
So not too bad then. but a little bit
Not
early.
too bad, but still, the sleep time was maybe 4 hours.
Yeah, I had some trouble sleeping myself. I woke up about 3 hours ago. I took a nap early, hoping to stay asleep, and it turned into just being a nap. So I sat watching Doctor Who for a couple hours and was just drifting off to sleep when my alarm said, "Hey, get up and get ready to go live."
Yep. Yeah, that's the problem with nighttime launches.
Yeah. But this is very exciting. If you're curious about the Dart mission, Miko has put together a deep dive. I don't. Maybe Mr. Producer has a way to bring the thumbnail up on screen for the Dart mission and show that to the audience at some point.
The thumbnail that we've got for the live stream on the Dart mission thumbnail.
The deep dive thumbnail.
Yeah, and I can.
Sorry, I should have warned you I was going to do that. I was thinking about that earlier today and was like, we should try and throw some thumbnails up if we can. But it's
I'm just pasting the link to the chat now.
That's a good idea too. Yeah. So Miko put together a deep dive on the mission just a few days ago. I think it posted Monday, so everybody could watch it. And yeah, so we got that available for everybody to watch. Where's everybody watching from? Give us a yo hello and where you're from in chat. We'd love to hear from you. We always like hearing from our audience and interacting with them. If you are new to our streams, you are in for a little bit of a treat. We are the most secret, exciting thing happening on the rocket launch live streams. So yeah, should be quite nice.
Yeah.
Odie Baca, welcome back. Antonym, welcome back. Lots of echo. Uh-oh. Okay. Mr. Producer, we're having some echo.
Yeah, I'm on speakers. That could matter.
Should I adjust Miko's audio now? Miko's audio seems to be the phantom on the right.
Okay. We'll try and get that sorted out and not have it do that.
There's still echo. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, is it on the feed?
I mean, I do have speakers on, so when Astro Roadie speaks, it could echo via my microphone. But I've tried to set the volume low.
Okay. So I'm Odie Baca says I'm the one that's echoing. Is that correct, Odie?
Monitoring mode on Joey's audio. Just talk.
10-4. Yeah, we're trying to get our audio gremlins all sorted out, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us. Oh, that fixed it. So maybe it's just being coming through the Discord, perhaps? Sounds like Odie Baca says it's fixed. Still sounds good, Odie? No echo? Miko, let's have a check from
it's
you.
possible I had the volume too loud on my speakers.
Okay. Getting getting conflicting reports here. Checking. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay. Um, Miko, do you have a way to switch to headphones?
Not really.
No. Can
I would have to look, see where my headphones are.
do you want to take a minute to do that and see if that'll help
I
solve the
mean,
issue?
I will try to mute myself. So let's see if that does anything.
Okay. Thank you for everybody's patience while we sort things out. Luckily, we're not really missing anything yet. We're still quite a ways out from liftoff, so we will be able to. Okay. Okay. Ooh, coffee hiccups. We're super glad everybody's been able to come back and join us again. It's always fun to have returning viewers. And I definitely am hearing something from somewhere, but I have everything muted, which is weird. Okay. Let's see. No, I want that one. This one. There we go. Anonymous on Odyssey. I think we've got it sorted out. Let us know if it sounds any better. Okay. Mr. Producer's giving me a message that says things
Yeah, I think it
are
was bleed
okay.
over from my end.
Okay.
So I'll just mute myself when I'm not speaking.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. So welcome everybody. We're gonna get the show back on track here. We are, of course, sitting here waiting for SpaceX to launch a Falcon 9 rocket and put up the DART mission for NASA. This double asteroid redirection test is going to slam into an asteroid about a year from now, and we're going to try to affect the orbit of a satellite of the moon, of the asteroid. So the asteroid Didymus has a small satellite orbiting it, and if we hit it just right, we should be able to slow it down. So instead of taking what is it, 11 and a half hours or something like that to make an orbit, it will
11.9.
11.9 hours. It will slow down just a little bit, and either over the course of one orbit or several orbits, we will be able to detect that difference in orbit for all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
expected change to orbit is around 7 minutes. And that would be around just under or just over 2 centimeters per second of speed. So not a lot, but it can make quite a lot of difference when an asteroid is far away from Earth.
yeah. If we hit if we affect the trajectory of an asteroid early enough on, we can, it's like leverage. When you've got a short lever, it's hard to lift a heavy weight, but when you get a long lever, you can lift something heavy. And the same thing applies to a small change on a trajectory at a distance makes a bigger difference when it gets up close. So yeah, it it's quite a neat little test, and this is just a proof of concept test. We built the whole thing just to go, is this even possible? Will this work for us? So
Yeah,
it's quite a nice little thing.
yeah, it hasn't been tried before, so no one knows if it actually works.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
science says it should work, and we'll see how it does. And I think the moonlet of Didymos, the Dimorphos, was around 160 meters in diameter. So it's a size of an asteroid that could cause some damage on Earth for sure.
yeah, it's Dimorphos is about the size of Khafre's pyramid in Egypt, so it's not small.
Yeah,
And we're basically hitting it with a golf cart sized satellite.
yep,
Which
pretty much.
should be pretty interesting. And then we also have um, Pritchell launching up to the space station tomorrow, I think. So we might be trying to stream that. Just kind of depends on what's going on with. It's a holiday tomorrow here in the United States, so I can't make any promises as to what my family has planned for me. But
Yeah,
if we are available, we will of course try to bring that to you. Uh, I cannot read. It looks like about 33 minutes till we have liftoff. If I'm reading that correct, it's kind of hard to.
yep, yeah, 33 minutes. And I checked the pre-launch for me is around 3 a.m. So I won't be streaming it.
Yeah, that's a little early.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't have work the next day, it would be okay because I can easily just be awake at that time. But yeah, when
Yeah,
there's work next morning, can't
yeah.
do it.
It's it. We don't make any money with the channel as of yet. We're able to pay for some subscriptions and things, mostly due to our Patreons. So we all have daytime jobs, although mine starts at 3 o'clock in the morning, um, in order to keep our bills paid. So we are not able to be around quite as much as we'd like. We can't be as flexible and stream everything we would like. We do have to make sure we have food on the table and bills paid and things. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's Antonym. It's hard. You're right. It's hard to think of anything more important than that. What surprises me is, I mean, there were a whole bunch of movies that came out in the late '90s about asteroid impacts and things, and trying to protect the Earth from them. And it's taken 20 years for us to loft this thing up into space. Uh, but if I'm correct, it was built quite a while ago, and then it was put into storage for a while. Was that this satellite, or was that something else that was put into storage? I get confused sometimes.
I don't remember myself.
There was some mission that was put on ice because of political changes and things. So yeah.
Yeah, I do
Uh,
remember the last module Rasan's launched to the ISS. That was like a 20-year delay or 10-year delay
yeah, the
with the Nauka
Nauka.
module.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was on a delay. that had a lot of, well, I mean, it had started development during the USSR era, and then with all the political upheaval and the fall of the Russian Empire, it kind of went by the wayside, and then there was a lot of confusion in construction process and things. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, Antonym, we have a lot of content on our backlog, so there's there's a lot there that you might find interesting, and we are constantly pushing more things out. I think I have 3 videos in my workload right now that I'm working on editing to get published. One of them is on a spaceport that we haven't covered yet. One of them is on uh, oh the
One of them is a space company.
yeah, one of them's a space company, and one of them is an interview with Rogue Space, who uh, has come back and done a second interview with us, and it was a lot of fun recording that. I just need to get my big boy pants on and get knuckled down and get it edited so we can push it out to you guys. So
Yep, a lot of content to be watched.
yeah, Anton, there was an ESA test that was going to be similar, and it got canceled, and some of the funding got pushed over to NASA for DART, if I'm correct, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
there was supposed to be an ESA spacecraft that would monitor the impact and record the results, but now there's only a small CubeSat from Italian Space Agency there that will record some pictures, maybe even video of the impact, and most of the results will be examined from Earth.
Flight from the pad where it all started with the launch of NASA's DART mission.
Well, thank you, Anton. That's very very kind. You don't just have to tell your best friends; you can tell all your friends. That'd be okay with us.
Yeah, thank you.
The DART spacecraft will separate approximately 56 minutes into flight and spend the next
Okay.
11 months cruising to its intended destination. Following stage separation, the first stage will make its way back to our autonomous spaceport drone ship called, of course, I Still Love You, which is currently stationed off the coast.
Yeah, SpaceX and NASA have been pretty good with the streams lately.
Makes its way back to Earth, but fingers crossed,
Yeah.
some great views as it completes its third trip to space.
Although, can we disable the closed captioning on that, or is it baked in?
Mission Directors Center to see how the countdown is progressing. Maria and Denton, that booster
Because our overlay is cutting off some of the closed captioning.
You can tell it's been to space.
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, you sure
Appreciate
can,
that.
and that's what we like to see.
Yeah, so exciting. It's been a minute since we've streamed a launch, so it is always good to be back in front of the camera and chatting it up with all of you. Again, let us know if you have any questions, if you have video ideas, something you want us to cover, some space company out there, or some mission, or some rocket you want us to do a video about. We are happy to do that. We are always looking to do things like that. We want to bring a content to our audience that they want to watch, and we also,
I mean, that's what you want. You want an event.
we always can use more ideas for content to work on. So if you have ideas or anything that you just want to see a video on, or if you have questions about what's going on with this particular launch or anything else in the industry, we're happy to answer some questions, throw some stuff in chat at us. If you want to support what we do have Patreon, patreon.com/total space, and you can contribute to us that way. Our YouTube monetization is currently going through a cycle at the moment, so we have super chat disabled for the moment. But we'll get that fixed in the next few days and be back with you.
All right, so
So
we're going to continue to keep an ear on things. Next thing we'll be listening for is the SpaceX launch conductor poll at T-minus 4 minutes. That's the next milestone you see on that progress bar on the bottom of your screen. So we'll be listening in for that. And for now, we're going to toss it back over to Daryl and Kelly.
All right, thank you very much, Marie and Denton. And now we want to get back to the science of this mission and talk a little bit about the what if, Kelly. You know, this is a big deal. A lot of people
Anton, it's Falcon 9 as the launch vehicle.
It really comes down to all the documenting and
well, that's weird. I'm getting some chroma aberrations through the black.
Right, well, NASA funded telescopes responsible for most
Yeah.
of the near-Earth asteroid discoveries, which now number.
So I'm chromaing out my green screen using hardware instead of software, and the hardware does not work the same way as OBS does when dealing with green screens. So I get little aberrations in the fringes of black items and whatnot. So still trying to get that refined a little bit, but doing it the way I'm doing it enables me to talk to you through this camera as well. So it kind of makes it a little bit more fun for me, and hopefully gives you some extra. Oh, that's not what I want.
Right, NASA funds these ground-based.
What's going on there?
Search for near-Earth asteroids, and they're doing a fabulous job.
There we go.
It is also developing.
There we go.
Object surveyor mission.
Yeah, so I've got some options there. Throw some different things behind me, and things are a little bit quicker to access and make changes on. So,
Yeah, Odi Baka, I'm actually going to be recording an episode with a guest I've had on the show, Shabolsk, and we will be talking about spin launch and some Starship concepts. So be sure to tune into that when that's available.
I'm here today with NASA Planetary.
yeah, Anton, I might be a little bit small on the screen in order to see any of that.
Lindley, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, how do your agencies work together when it comes to planetary defense?
Well, we at NASA are tasked with trying to find any impact threat that might be out there, any asteroid or comet that is close enough to Earth that it could impact us, and then be able to determine when and where that impact.
So James Webb Telescope is delayed by a few days at the moment. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I haven't read any of the articles about it, but I've seen some of the other space communicators put out videos on it, and it sounds like a clamp came undone and it experienced a vibration that was unexpected, and they need to go through and check that there wasn't any damage. That seems like very political wording to me, because I mean it's meant to withstand the vibrations of launch, so sounds like it might have actually taken a bit more of a tumble than they want to admit to. What do you think, Mikko?
Yeah, kind of sounds like it may have dropped a bit or something like that. Yeah, not good news, but they only have 4-day delay, so maybe it's not bad.
Yeah, hopefully everything is a-okay and doesn't require any repairs or anything. But of course they do want to go through and test it, because if they put it up in the air and something's broken, then the whole thing's just a loss. I'd rather wait a few more days on a year's delayed project anyway than put it up and not have it work because we didn't take the time to test something. So
yeah, absolutely.
How extensive those effects might be.
Let's see.
Area might be impacted by this natural disaster.
And Leviticus, how would FEMA work with NASA if this type of scenario were to happen?
So we're not going to be changing our procedures
exactly, but we want to make sure we account for the differences in the science and in this particular scenario. So it'll be another emergency added to the list of things we handle every day.
Leviticus, Lindy, thank you so much for your time.
You're quite welcome. You're welcome.
All right, DART is the first time we've ever used a spacecraft as a kinetic impactor.
Yeah, Anton, it's possible spin launch may not be viable from Earth, but hoping to see a successful test launch though.
Yeah, they did that one test a couple weeks ago, and they like it seems like it could be a pretty viable system, and they wouldn't just be able to take a satellite that was made to launch on a rocket and put it on spin launch. It would have to be made to launch on spin launch. It's gonna have to handle a few more G's to go up on spin launch, but it may still be cheaper to build it beefier and throw it up on spin launch into its own. Like it's a small sat launcher, so but it would be able to put it in its own orbit, its own inclination, and they could probably do a few launches relatively quickly together. So really interesting concept. There's I've seen a few of the other space communicators put out some videos on other options. There was some balloon lit launches that were tested for a minute there, but they couldn't get they'd send a rocket up on a balloon and then launch from the rocket, but they couldn't control what way the rocket was pointed when they lit the engine, so they bagged that. And then another company is building it's like a four prop, kind of looks like a drone, but it's the four prop helicopter that goes up and then tilts to the right angle and inclination, and the rocket launches from that. That was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, and Anton, the mission will be launching in just about 20 minutes, so 21 minutes past the hour, and it will be launching on SpaceX Falcon 9. The mission is DART, or Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
No, this is a SpaceX Falcon 9. We are launching from Vandenberg, which a lot of recent Atlas launches have been from Vandenberg lately, and not a lot of SpaceX missions have been going up from Vandenberg, but this is the third one this year. We streamed the Starlink launch, Starlink version 1.5, several weeks ago. We were not able to do the Starlink launch. What was it, a week and a half ago? But yeah, I think this is the third one from Vandenberg from SpaceX.
There might be material thrown off from the surface that will affect that
So
motion.
not a lot of West Coast
Yeah.
launches from SpaceX this year.
But quite a bit more than past couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And with the new Starlink layer, we can expect launches, well, to ramp up quite a bit.
Yeah. We will. It's been an interesting year for launches. Not quite the same cadence we had last year. Of course, we had Starlink launches every other day last year, it seemed like, and we had all the super heavy test launches, the Starship test launches and things. So there's a lot. It seemed like things were a lot more exciting, but there's still so much. We're a month and a half away from, well, what, 5 weeks away from the end of the year, and we've got so much more going on this year. A few things that have been pushed to next year. We had a couple of Falcon Heavy launches get pushed to next year. We had SLS pushed to next year. We've had Starship pushed to next year. But we still have JWST, which if everything checks out okay, that's on the 22nd, I believe, of December. So right before Christmas. And my family is going to be disappointed if that's launching at the same time as my family Christmas party, because I will be here streaming to you guys instead of at my family Christmas party. Sorry, family. That's just
Yeah.
I got my priorities straight here. I know what's important to me.
Yeah. Let's hope it won't be delayed for a couple of more days, so it won't be on the 24th or 25th.
Yeah, yeah.
And it will do that because we can measure the change.
Lots of people can see the launch. Hey, Jude. Welcome. Yeah, China has thrown up a lot this year. That's very true. China has done more than half of the launches this year, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
sounds about right.
I saw a chart a few weeks back, and they'd done more than SpaceX, and SpaceX had done more than like the next 2 or 3 combined.
Yeah.
So China's done a lot of launches. They've really ramped up their space program, and I think NASA Administrator Bill Nelson had it right when he said that we can't underestimate them. You know, they are quite capable of getting to the moon rather quickly. At the rate that they are accelerating their space program, we need to get our butts in gear with SLS. We can't be doing any more of this old guard space program that we've been doing. We need to get moving. Of course, you know, the way SpaceX is going, we might have boots on the moon from SpaceX before NASA. So, you know, who knows? Hopefully, I think that would be quite meme worthy of SpaceX to, you know, step out of lunar starship to greet the to greet the astronauts from whoever else gets there next.
Yeah.
Quite fun.
The other 60% of threatening bodies. What's also exciting, though, is that this mission carries technologies.
And yeah, SpaceX was launching quite a bit earlier this year until they finished the first layer for Starlink. I think that was maybe even around May, and after that there's just been a handful of Starlink launches. At some point, SpaceX had been launching a rocket every 9 days, and I think that was for first half of the year or something. So they did have quite a high cadence, but yeah, for the second half of the year, not so many.
Yeah. And that's correct, Jude. SpaceX has put a lot of mass up. China is still working on any sort of heavy lift, and is a long way off from any sort of super heavy lift capacity rockets. So even though they're putting up a lot of rockets, and they've got
into the gas
modules on their
generator
space
and the
station
main
up there
combustion
now?
chambers. The
Or is it
T
still
tip
just
burns
the-
in the presence of oxygen.
I think at
It's so
least
hard to
two
get
of them.
information out of
Introduce the
China on what's
RP-1
actually
kerosene
going on with
fuel,
their space
and the
station.
Merlin engine goes to full power for liftoff. Now at liftoff, Falcon 9's 2 stages.
Yeah,
combine
at
to
least
hold
2
up
modules.
1.1 million pounds per
Mm.
pellet. And we'll learn from
That sounds
over
right.
the 8
Look
to 9
at
minutes
all
taken to
that
land the first stage,
vapor
get
coming
the
off of
second
that
stage into
rocket.
its initial
It's just
orbit.
beautiful.
Now, once our
Yeah, and
Merlin
we
engine
can
begins
actually see the
burning
rocket this
RP-1
time.
kerosene fuel,
Yeah,
Not so
yeah.
much fog there.
you're going to see the rocket essentially throwing the combustion exhaust out of the engine nozzles in one direction, resulting in a push on the rocket in the opposite direction. And this is the great example of Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Now we started the
Let's see
day with
what's
pretty
going
good
on
weather
over
forecast,
here.
and the good news right now is weather off officers giving us a 0% probability of violating launch weather requirements.
Yeah, we are monitoring over on Odyssey, so if you have questions, throw them in chat. We're not just paying attention to YouTube, so if you're watching from over there, go ahead and throw some questions or comments in the chat. And we're not big on censorship. We will censor slightly if necessary. So, but for the most part, we are a free speech minded channel. So go ahead and throw something out, and we will try to answer questions. And same with over here on YouTube, we are monitoring chat there as well. And we can try and answer some questions. Something you want to talk about. We don't even necessarily have to stick to the typical space or this particular mission. We have been known to go a little bit off topic if it's worth talking about. Welcome, Junie K. I hope I said that right. Yeah, we are just under 10 minutes.
Yeah, and Jude, SpaceX indeed has some chip shortage problems, but I think mostly those have been affecting the user terminals and not the satellites. So I think at the moment they are trying to see how the new satellites work with laser links and maybe do some upgrades before next patches.
Ejected from its orbit around that larger asteroid,
yeah,
noticeably changed the pair's orbit
the whole world seems to be experiencing a lot of chip shortages. A lot of that seems to be related to a lot higher demand. You know, the whole world went into lockdown and everybody needed a new computer, and schools needed more computers, and the demand went through the roof. And it's going to be a while before things catch up. You know, everything that was pre-manufactured and stored in warehouses got eaten up real fast. And so it's going to take a minute for supply and demand to equal each other out again.
If ever.
And it'll reveal by how much.
So yeah, the Cosmos 1408 disaster. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on Starlink. The impact is below the inclination and orbit of Starlink. So I mean, it could cause a little bit of a headache for Starlink, but not likely. It's hard to say, but I mean, it is a disaster, and it is going to cause problems. We probably won't hear about much of it unless it like breaks up another satellite and we have significantly more debris when we start to get a little bit of Kessler effect going on. But yeah, it should be okay. It's not a real high orbit. It's not nearly as low as it should have been. Russia should have known better, but it's not like you know, it was a Russian military test. It was not Roscosmos. So you know, Roscosmos couldn't have done anything about it if they'd wanted to. So unfortunately, as with most countries, you know, military can make decisions that aren't always as well thought out as space industry decisions, which are not always all that well thought out either. I mean, we have SLS, which is costing, you know, billions and billions of dollars versus, you know, Starship, which is costing SpaceX quite a bit, but it's not costing the taxpayers nearly as much. So yeah, you start getting governments involved in things and militaries involved in things, and you know, sometimes the guy that has the power to make the decision or the person, not necessarily a guy, the person who has the power to make the decision may not be the most qualified to make the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most of the debris from the Russian satellite should be deorbiting within a year. It's still in a quite low orbit, but some of it went to higher orbits. No, not too
Yes.
much, but few parts. So some of those
Yeah.
will probably be there like a decade or so,
Yeah.
at least.
Astroscale and Skyrora are both doing some space cleanup, as well as Rogue Space, which we have one interview with Rogue Space, and we have another one on the editing desk. So if you're not familiar with Rogue Space, go check out our first interview and stay tuned to the channel for the second one, because both, and we have interviews with Astroscale and Skyrora as well. So there's quite a bit of content on our channel that goes over a little bit of the debris removal stuff. So feel free to peruse our channel. What else we got here?
Absolutely.
We're super excited and nervous as well.
I feel really honored and humbled to be working in an area of science that has such a broader impact, figuratively and literally.
So dark. The dinosaurs are made completely extinct by an asteroid impact so many years ago. Here we are.
Welcome, Tiggy Cat.
About it. I think this is just wonderful.
There are a lot of companies working on various debris removal methods, and we are sure to try to bring you anything we can on any of those companies. Looks like we are just under 4 minutes, so we should maybe start paying a little attention to what's going on there. Let's see here.
Now, this is different from Falcon East Coast launches, where we moved the strong back only 2 degrees, and then we retracted the rest of the way at liftoff. It slipped
Yep.
lower once we get
Sounds
it
like
into
we
position
just
here
got
in
the
about
go
another
for
30
launch.
seconds or so. We won't have to move it farther away at liftoff.
Okay.
Also, while we were watching the
There we
video,
go.
we have completed the heel load on the first stage on time as expected, and we've begun chilling of the Merlin engines. Coming up on
We have
T-3
we have time code on the SpaceX feed.
Stage 1 LOX load complete.
And we just heard that call out, LOX load complete. That is the first stage LOX loading being completed.
That's a great quote, Anton.
And Falcon 9 and DART teams continue to track no issues for launch. Weather is still looking great, as John mentioned. The range is ready to support.
Yeah, Jude, with different delays, we're going to see different amounts of time depending on where we're watching. The SpaceX feed versus our feed versus YouTube versus Odyssey. They're all going to be a little bit different. But yeah, we are getting fairly close to launching.
Just a minute earlier than today.
Look at all that vapor. Just poofy poofy.
LOX load is in closeout.
Is Mr. Producer ready for Roaring Rocket audio?
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
There we go. Stage 2 LOX load is complete. This completes loading of the over 1.1 million.
Yeah, we are watching this on YouTube, and my camera is going all the way across the pond over to the United Kingdom. Mikko's camera is coming from Finland to the United Kingdom, and all those things are getting mashed together and then sent out to YouTube and Odyssey from Mr. Producer in the United Kingdom. So there is a little bit of wonkiness with the delay. So, and Mr. Producer's telling me that he is ready for some roaring rocket sounds, which we are probably ready to bring up that feed audio, and I'm going to mute my mic for a minute. So let's listen to what's going on with SpaceX.
For launch, first and second stage tanks are beginning to final pressurize for launch. Just waiting
Falcon
for
9, Dart, go for launch.
And there's that final go for launch with all systems go for T0. Let's listen into the terminal count and watch Falcon 9 transport NASA's DART spacecraft into orbit.
T-minus 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Falcon 9 with the DART mission on the way for humanity's first ever planetary defense test mission.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stage 1 chamber pressure is nominal.
T plus 33 seconds. SpaceX launch engineers seeing a nominal conditions on Falcon 9 as we begin the trip to space carrying the DART spacecraft. M1D engines about to begin throttling down.
Power and telemetry nominal.
That's a PTZ camera, not an operating camera.
We're throttled down. Avionics calls out good power on the vehicle.
Vehicle supersonic.
They were not. They didn't have it pointed the right way for the inclination.
Yeah.
Max Q.
We've gone supersonic. We're through the period of maximum dynamic pressure. And the Merlin 1D engines have throttled back up to full power. We're out of the throttle bucket. From here on, even though the velocity is rapidly increasing, the atmospheric density is decreasing, and so the loads are decreasing now on the Falcon 9. Everything continues to look good.
Here we
with
have
the
our
stage
exhaust
one
plume
trajectory.
fanning out. That's always one of my favorite parts of a launch.
Invec chill has started.
Just love it.
Lead valve is open on the second stage engine. That's beginning the final chill prior to second stage engine ignition.
Just love it.
My favorite moment, of course, is the
2
main
minutes
engine
into
cutoff
flight,
where
all
they
continues to
call my
go
name.
well. In 30 seconds, we'll have three
Yes, of
significant
course.
events coming up in quick succession. We'll get Mikko, main engine cutoff, where we shut down the 9 Merlin engines. The stages will separate, and we'll get
Yeah, those
ignition of the
nighttime
MVAC-D
plumes.
second stage engine to power
Look at that.
DART and the second stage
This
into
is
their
gorgeous.
parking orbit. We've throttled down to hold at 4 Gs, getting ready for Mikko.
Nico.
Stage separation confirmed.
Sounds like the mission control at SpaceX is quite crowded tonight.
Invec
There was like
ignition.
1 or 2 people clapping.
We've got successful stage separation, second stage engine ignition now at
Sounds
full
like
power on
they
the
have
Merlin engine.
become a bit more
Next event
professional,
coming
and
up
there
is
is no
going to be payload
crowd
fairing
cheering
jettison.
anymore.
On the left side, you can
I
see the
I think it's
titanium
just
grid fins on the first
late
stage
at night, so
beginning to
there's
deploy.
nobody
As
nobody
we get ready to
nobody
bring the
working.
first
Yeah,
stage
maybe.
back down to the drone ship. Of course, I still love you in the Pacific Ocean.
Boom! Oh, that's a new. Have they shown us that view
Getting
before?
ready now. There's the
Bearing
view
separation confirmed.
of the fairing. And we've got deployment of the payload
Not
fairing.
exactly
And
the
now
They were new.
same
the
name,
They
but yeah.
they were new
exposed to the
fairings.
vacuum of outer space.
Okay.
Now, we
Or
will
there
be
was
attempting
so
to
much
retrieve these
space
new
in the
fairing
fairings
halves with the
because
help
the
of our recovery
spacecraft is so
vessel
small.
and our
Yeah,
sea cross.
Stage 2
And it's
on
the only
nominal
thing on this
trajectory.
mission, so there's a lot
Yeah.
of room. And
Everything going well with Falcon 9
yeah,
and
new
Dart.
new fairings. That's exciting. Looks like they're a little bit more
What you're
complicated than
looking at on
previous
your
fairings.
screen is a live view of that MVAC
Yeah.
engine on our second stage, burning
A
bright.
new mylar
We are
lining.
currently in the first of 2 planned MVAC burns for spacecraft deployment today. At T plus 6 minutes and 40 seconds, you should
Yeah,
see
we
on your screen.
should
Hopefully
see
we'll get some
the
live views of the first
the
stage
booster landing
entry burn.
in about what 4 more minutes.
And that entry burn will last
Yeah,
about
about
30
4
seconds.
minutes.
Now for the entry burn, we do relight the center E9 engine, and then partway through we relight the E1 and E5 engines, so that we have 3 total M1B
I do have the
engines helping to
timeline
slow the
here,
vehicle
so
down as it
landing
passes
burn will
back
start
into the Earth's atmosphere.
T plus 8:26.
Again, what you're looking at on your screen is the MVAC engine on the second stage. Getting some awesome live views, and everything is still looking nominal for stage 2.
Yeah, new Mylar linings, probably a little bit easier to deal with seawater than the acoustic stuff that they have in older fairings. It probably soaks up that water and has to be removed and replaced for each launch.
As second stage is continuing
Yeah,
on
that
its
could be.
journey. Again, this is the first of 2 planned MVAC burns for this mission.
Haha, yeah, Jouni.
Now, the Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission will perform this entry burn for the 3rd time, because it's previously
Yeah,
supported
this is
Starlink
not a
mission
this is
earlier
not
this
an
year,
RTLS
and
launch. It's going down to a drone ship.
Just to call out that stage 2 is looking nominal, which is great news. The first stage booster, again, supported a Starlink mission earlier this year and the Sentinel-6A mission in November of 2020. Now, both fairing halves for this mission are brand new and will be recovered for the first time on a recovery vessel, NRC Quest. And we are just about 30 seconds away from that entry burn on first stage.
At what point in the timeline is payload separation?
That's T plus 55 minutes 40 seconds. So there's quite a bit of
and these do achieve
ghosting period there.
190,000 pounds
Yes,
of
there
thrust
is.
during ascent and descent.
And there will be an engine
Looks like we've
burn
got a
at
live view on
T
your
plus
left-hand
28
screen
minutes.
of the first stage.
Stage 1, FTS is saved.
And entry burn.
And we heard the call out as well
I
as
just-
visual confirmation that the entry burn has begun on the first stage. Again,
That's
this is
some
about a
that's some
30-second
pretty amazing
burn and just
views
helps
through
to slow
the
vehicle down as it's re-entering the
plasma
denser part of
blackout
the
that we
Earth's
usually get.
atmosphere.
That's a pretty good feed on the return.
And as you could see, the engine shut down on your screen. We did hear a call out that entry burn is complete.
Stage 2, FTS is saved.
Stage 2 continues on a nominal trajectory. Now coming up in
Terminal guidance.
just a little over a minute will be SECO 1. That is second stage engine cutoff 1. Again, there's 2 burns for the MVAC engine on the second stage, so we are in the first burn.
Expected loss of signal, Cook.
So we should see this engine shut off here shortly. And about 20 seconds later, we'll see or hear the landing burn call out on first stage begin.
MVAC shut down.
And we just
Nominal orbit insertion.
That's what we were waiting for.
Stage 1 landing burn startup.
And looks like we're
So we
just
got
about to get
SECO 1
some
on
views
second
from the
stage,
landing burn.
confirmation
There's
of
our
the
drone
orbit,
ship.
And the landing burn has begun on first stage, and now we have a live view of first stage making its way to, of course, I Still Love You.
Stage 1 landing leg deployed.
Okay, that's a cool view. But it cut.
Yeah.
And we had some incredible views.
It's
Now we're
it's
just
pretty
waiting for
rare
some
that we get
confirmation
a
of that first stage
continuous
landing here in a
view of
second.
that.
As we have a live view of second stage currently with the engine cut off as it's coasting towards its targeted orbit.
I don't know if they record that and release it anywhere after the fact, but sure would be cool to have a landing
And
compilation
we will wait for
that
that
is
confirmation of that
pre-recorded.
first stage landing, but you
Well,
have just witnessed
all
the
those
if you
landing
get an
footage.
answer from
26th
Elon on Twitter,
flight
maybe
for this year.
he could answer. But
And we will
yeah,
confirm once we
I
have
don't think he would
that
be
confirmation
answering
for
to
that first
us.
stage landing. So now at this time, our mission isn't over just yet. The second stage is now embarking on its first coast phase. Coasting in this orbit will last about 20 minutes, and we will light that MVAC engine for a second time shortly after T plus 28 minutes and 38 seconds. So we'll see you back here at T plus 28 minutes.
So now we have about 18 minutes before an engine burn and then about 45 minutes until payload separation.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good time for me to at least take a short break and go stretch my legs and things. Mikko, are you going to need a break as well?
Yeah, I think I should refill my coffee cup at least.
Okay, we are going to take a short break. We're going to keep the stream going, but we're gonna take a short break as hosts, and we're going to stretch our legs, refresh our beverages and things, and we will be right back with you.
Of this mission with the experts who know. So welcome up back, everyone. I'm Gerald Nail, and with me is Kelly Fast, program scientist.
And
at the
Anton,
Planetary
I think
Defense
we can
Coordination
presume the
Office.
booster
We
landed
hope you really
okay.
enjoyed watching the launch.
We
I know
will
Kelly did,
definitely
because as
see
was
it
going up, you were going,
when it
"Whoa,
comes
what
back
happened
to
to this?"
land in Florida.
That was
But
so
I guess
exciting to
we'll
hear
have,
the rumble
sorry, not
of
Florida, but
the rocket noise
on
come
the
from the
west
hangar
coast.
here.
But
But I'm
we'll
just
have
again
to
being so excited
wait
for
and
the
see.
team that has worked so hard on this. I know they are partying it up wherever they're watching from, and so I'm so excited for them.
Yes, especially that launch viewing location out there. I heard that it was a fantastic view, and that was pretty neat to see at least the first part of the landing where it was coming down, illuminated the ship. But even more so to see that DART spacecraft and the fairing come out. There it is, going to space.
Oh, I know we're not out of the woods yet. We still got to get that all the way out to Dimorphos, but this is a huge step along the way.
Absolutely. That is very important because there is a lot more work to do to get this. And of course, we're going to be tracking all of that. Going back to that movie trailer, Hollywood's always had fun with asteroids and, ending the Earth with one of them. But the movie's called Don't Look Up. But really, you're kind of evidence that we're looking up more now than ever.
I like that Adam McKay kind of put it into context that it's fiction, it's a comedy, but in the real world, there's a lot of work going on with a lot of scientists looking for near-Earth asteroids, getting them cataloged. There's an international asteroid warning network. There's astronomers around the world doing this, and it's a big focus at NASA. And so it's the only natural disaster that we could prevent, an asteroid impact. And so why not use your capabilities to look, to the extent that you can, rack those up, and then do something like darts that you've got a tool in the toolbox there.
Absolutely. And there's so much more to talk about. There are other ways I've heard that we could do this. This is one we're testing. We'll talk to Lori Glaze about that. And then we'll also have your close approach demonstration, which we're really looking forward to. So that's coming up in just a bit. So in the next hour, we are going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about asteroids and break down the DART mission from A to Z. And we're going to start with an overview of this mission.
In case there was an asteroid coming towards Earth and you're there, you can actually stop it. I mean, that's kind of fantastic.
NASA is crashing a spacecraft into an asteroid.
What? You think science fiction, but this is real. Never in my life would I have thought I would take a couple $100 million spacecraft and crash it into an asteroid. My name is Michelle Chen.
I'm Lena Adams.
My name is Kelly Fast.
I'm Andy Rifkin.
I'm Justina Sorovitz, and I help tell the story of the DART mission.
I'm a planetary defender.
And I study how the orbits of asteroids change after we hit them with spacecraft.
My job was primarily to make sure all the systems on the spacecraft work together.
The DART mission is NASA's first test of a planetary defense technique called kinetic impactor.
DART is the
Alright, I'm back with another cup of coffee. So, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat.
See if we can change its trajectory just a little bit.
In order to show that we can deflect incoming asteroids if we need to.
DART will only be changing the period of the orbit of Dimorphos by a tiny amount.
But in space, just a little bit is just enough to make an asteroid actually miss us.
In the event that an asteroid is discovered well ahead of time before it might impact Earth.
Behind me, you see the spacecraft.
It's really cool to see it coming together in real life.
It is fantastic to see it in real life.
To see it turn from ideas into real pieces that are going to go into space.
The solar array
Yeah, Anton, ain't that Mars background pretty cool that Astro has?
Be the size of a school bus.
As the solar array opens out, it's going to swing out in this direction.
The asteroid's only 2 football fields in size.
We're flying at over 6 kilometers a second.
30 days out, we see 1 pixel on our field of view.
You can see Dynamos and Dimorphos as 1 point of light.
About 4 hours out, our spacecraft becomes autonomous.
And then that's where everything gets really exciting.
You actually are seeing impact.
We're super excited and nervous as well.
I feel really honored and humbled to be working in an area of science that has such a broader impact, figuratively and literally.
So dark. The dinosaurs are made completely extinct by an asteroid impact so many years ago. Here we are, we can actually do something about it. I think this is just wonderful.
And as was mentioned in there, this is the first planetary defense mission. And this is your office we're talking about, Kelly. So for the audience out there that doesn't understand or hasn't heard of this before, what is the Planetary Defense Coordination Office? What do you do?
If dinosaurs had a space program, DART would have saved them.
Since 1998, so this has been going on a long time. But in 2016, it was really formalized more in the creation of this Planetary Defense Coordination Office, which is in the Planetary Science Division at NASA headquarters. And it takes that legacy near Earth object observations program, all the, the finding them part of the program, and then combines that with these other activities like DART, like the development of the Near Earth Object Surveyor Space Telescope, like our interagency collaborations like we saw with FEMA there, our international collaborations, and formalizing all of that and leading the Planetary Defense Coordination Office. Lindley Johnson, we say he's got the coolest title in the solar system as NASA's Planetary Defense Officer.
All right, and he sure does. I enjoy listening to him in that interview earlier. Now, throughout the show, we will be taking
All right, I am back.
NASA gets about asteroids and posing them to experts like Kelly. This next question...
Welcome back. And Anton, yeah, about 6 to 9 months, or okay, maybe closer to 8 to 9 months. That seems quite high for people to travel in space, especially with all the radiation, and it might pose some mental health problems being in the tin can for 8 months. So hopefully we get some better propulsion at some point.
Yes, I have invested a fair amount in my studio. I don't even want to total it up, but it is approaching multiple tens of thousands of dollars that I have invested in my studio. So that's why I'm showing it off on stream, because it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
To see all this stuff. I've got the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K Pro over here, and then I've got my Canon cheapy 250D, EOS 250D, which is a Rebel 3LS or something like that. It's like a $500 camera kit. It's nothing fancy. And then I've got my ATEM Mini Pro. I've got the Stream Deck. I've got the Rodecaster. I've got the Marantz mic, and I've got a whole bunch of monitors and laptops and keyboards, speed editors, and all sorts of gear in front of me. And it is. I don't like to buy cheap stuff, so the Canon will get replaced fairly soon here, I'm sure. I might get one of the 4K Blackmagics, but I need to suss out why they're so difficult to work with green screens.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why this camera is over here instead of in front of me, because it doesn't like working with the green screen very well. At least not through the ATEM.
Yeah, setup looks great.
Well, Canon is not a sponsor. Mr. Producer, you and your banter.
Well, the DART spacecraft weighs about 500 kilograms, which Andy Rivkin, one of the IT...
And Anton, I haven't looked up into it either. Maybe we could get some sort of boost from the moon, but I would expect it not to be that big, or someone would probably have suggested it already.
I think for this particular launch, the boost we could get from the moon is not beneficial. We're close enough to the Earth that we're better off getting a slingshot from the Earth than from the moon. Would be
we were actually talking about for Mars missions, so it was a bit of off topic.
Yeah. My guess would be the amount of boost. Being this close to the Earth, it'd just be easier to just get a slingshot off of the Earth than to try to slingshot off the moon.
And yeah, that's true, Joni. They would need quite a bit of propellant on that end too, so that would make everything heavier and not that easy to work with.
Yeah. Braking once you get to Mars, the orbital insertion at Mars does take a fair amount of delta V. Yeah, Mr. Producer, I thought your goal was to die on Mars, not on the way to Mars. So we're having a little bit of a funny discussion going on our Discord, which speaking of Discord, that's one of the benefits our Patreons get. So if you're interested in joining our Discord, you can accomplish that for just a few dollars a month on Patreon, and you get access to our Discord. And you can chat with us, as well as join us when we do interviews and ask questions of the people we interview, as well as behind the scenes conversation with all the hosts and other fans of the channel, and all sorts of things that happen in our Discord. As well as early access to videos and even previewing some early edits of videos on occasion. So there's some fun things that happen along in our Discord. So you might want to think about that if that's your kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a fun place to hang around. And for the slowing down part on Mars, we did have an aerobraking episode but that was just a podcast, so it's audio only, and I think it's, well, it's more likely almost a year old at this point.
Sounds like good a good candidate for a remake then.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's a lot of our early episodes that are just podcasts that I think would make great remakes for the channel and provide our audience with some video versions of those. With our skills with YouTube have come a long way since we started the channel.
Yeah, it has changed quite a bit.
Yeah, get Benno back. I would love to have Benno on another episode.
Yep, maybe I'll talk to him.
Yeah, he hasn't been around much lately. It's been kind of scarce. He's usually hanging out in the Discord a lot more.
Yeah, it varies. Sometimes he's more active. Sometimes he's taking a break.
Yeah. Like many, he has other things going on in life than just hanging out in Discord with us yahoos.
Yeah.
First, Turk, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that fantastic launch. It never gets old to watch a NASA launch, does it?
So what's your next deep dive you're working on, Mikko? Do you have you picked that yet?
I actually haven't. But yeah, the one I just released this Monday is about this Dart mission. So if you haven't watched that, go ahead and have a watch. Did we have some topics, Astro Roadie, for episodes?
I know Rich LB and Mr. Producer are working on a script for another rocket company. So we have two of those that are coming down the pipeline. So we have two different rocket launch companies. I know there's another company I linked in one of our Discord channels that would be a good one to do a deep dive on. Pretty small, pretty new, so there may not be much information on them. It might be more of a quick take. But yeah, I know that there's plenty of launch providers that we could do. We could do a lot of videos on. I'd like to have a complete library of active launch providers and upcoming launch providers where we have videos on, like we did for Rocket Lab and the other two that are in the works. We probably ought to do one for SpaceX. It probably would do fairly well for us to cover some more SpaceX stuff than we do. We don't do a lot of SpaceX because it's so clickbaity. There's so much out there that the market's just pretty saturated. So we try to cover other things and be a little bit more diverse. But maybe we should do a little bit more of the SpaceX stuff.
Yeah, and looks like in about a minute or so we will be having an engine burn. Okay, there we see the feed, and this is about a minute long burn. So yeah, they need to do quite a bit of a burn to get out from orbit to the asteroids.
And that second ignition coming up in just a few seconds.
Yeah, and as we approach the ground station, we're getting better telemetry and video from the vehicle. And from there, you can kind of see the trajectory of where we are heading towards right now. Right now, we're near the southern tip of South America.
There she goes.
And we just got confirmation of MVAC ignition. And you can see the video there. You can see the engine coming to life.
And so we are, right now, DART is near the southern tip of Chile.
Yeah, you
Near
can
the
see the
capital
sun
city
is
of the area's
lighting up
southernmost
the
region.
engine bell halfway. Pretty cool.
And so this next burn lasts just under a minute, and then we expect to hear second cutoff at T plus 29 minutes, 27 seconds. So in just a few seconds now, you can see that MVAC engine glowing red hot during this second burn.
Everything's looking good.
INVAC shutdown.
And we just got confirmation of engine shutdown.
Yeah, Jude. While SpaceX is probably the most popular launch provider, there's so many others, and it's not just about the history. Other companies are doing things differently, and it's very important that
And then there we see the rocket on the drone ship. Finally.
yeah, there she is. And hello, Mr. Rich LB. Welcome. Good morning.
Safely landed there. That is the third landing of this.
Hello,
mission, so
Rich.
congratulations to SpaceX on yet another one. In the meantime, DART is in a coast phase with the second stage for about another 26 minutes or so.
It's more than just for history's sake. Every launch provider does something that other launch providers are doing differently. There's like ULA is very good at very specific orbits, whereas SpaceX is very good at their focus is more on budget and reusability. And it'd be great if we could get both of those things combined, but every company has their different focuses. Every space agency has different things they're focused on. So to me, it's important to look at the whole big picture rather than just this little window. As amazing as it is, SpaceX is just an amazing company, but there's so much more going on. If we ignore everything else that's going on, then we're missing out on a lot of the rest of the story. And I can't do that. There's so many interesting things happening in the space sector. I don't want to just talk about one thing, but we do have some SpaceX things in the works as well. Come January, if budgets allow, it might have to push till February, but come January, we're hoping that we can maybe get a camera down to a particular place in the coast of Texas and get some views from down there. So we'll see. We're hoping. We need to finance some things. So any support we can get through Patreon and whatnot is greatly appreciated and will be put towards all of those wonderful things.
Of launching on the first or second day in the opportunity, we decided that it was more efficient and a better use of the limited resources that we all have to do these kinds of missions, to focus on
And
the
thanks, Anton.
trajectory for each day. And if
Yeah,
for
it's
whatever reason we
nice
don't
to have
launch that
some
day,
great feedback on the chat.
Why did you guys ultimately decide to launch from the central coast of California and not here in Florida?
Great question. Typically, for a lot of our interplanetary missions, the most important thing is to get as much energy out of the launch vehicle, and that's no different for DART.
We do feel appreciated. It's a lot of fun to sit and interact with the audience and connect with you. A lot of the bigger channels have great coverage too, but they have so much going on in the chat, such large audiences that they can't have a conversation with the people watching, and that's something that we can provide to our audience is hey, we can talk to you. we can answer your questions, and we can cover the things that you want to hear about. And
So I'll actually be here at Kennedy
you know,
Space Center.
it's great.
Typically,
It's great.
pre-COVID, in my role, I would be traveling out to the West Coast. I'll be monitoring the progress of the vehicle.
Yes, Jude. There are plenty of people with cameras down in Boca, and it's not required.
And then I'll be looking at the data from the rocket
It's
and
kind of
making a determination
as a
how well we
test
did
as well,
that we'll have in orbit very accurately.
because we do want to get out and have our own camera on launch sites,
Thank you.
and things,
Thank you, Megan
and
Planetary Defense takes
and give
planetary
some other coverage of launches and things.
Administrator Bill Nelson
If the
about
timing works out, we might just have a camera there for Starship's launch. Have no idea when for sure that's going to be. You never know. But you know, Boca Chica seems like a good place to start testing the equipment, making sure that we can live stream from the field and get a good clean feed out to our audience. There's no sense in getting out there if all we can do is send you a potato cam. Yes, India, ISRO is doing some amazing things. I would love it if we could find a new team member in India that could give us some more insight over there and some camera views from the launch sites there. That would be quite amazing.
Yeah, and Indian private companies, I haven't even looked into those. Neither have I really checked out Chinese ones either. So those are something that could turn out really interesting.
Yeah, great ideas, Jude. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We will try to pump some things through our workload and get that kind of stuff out. That's really really the kind of things we really want to do. X Rider on Odyssey. Sorry, this is a bit late, but X Rider on Odyssey says the launch rattled his windows. So doesn't sound like anything's broken. So that's good. But glad you could hear it. Evidently, the SpaceX microphones were laying down on the job, so we didn't get a lot of engine roar on the feed.
Yeah. Room with the headphones on, and you can listen to the spacecraft team as they go through all of their checks and making sure that they've got everything ready to go, and all the go for fuel, and then watching the monitors. You can see the fuel tanks filling up on both of the main booster and on the second stage, and then the final poll when you get, the spacecraft teams go for launch, and then you hear the launch team say, "Is NASA ready for launch?"
India, ISRO has really been accomplishing a lot of great things, as well as United Arab Emirates, the Emiratis, their space program, the Hope probe. We have some videos on well, at least one, maybe two videos on the Hope probe. We should probably do we could probably do an update on that. There's been a lot happened since then, and probably enough that we can get footage on to put together an episode on that as well.
Yeah, we really should check what science has come out. I don't think there's much papers yet, but we can see some pictures, maybe some info on it, but we would have to see for ourselves what the data says.
Man. Welcome randomly. Random TV.
Yeah, that would be great.
We're probably not going to get a live feed. There'd be what, a 15-minute delay from where the impact is going to happen.
Something like that. But yeah, we are getting some live footage from there.
There will be footage of the impact because the ESA satellite that's going up as part of DART is going to record the impact and send the data and imagery back. So we will see some good stuff there.
Yeah, that's called Lichia Coop. And I did talk about that in my episode about DART. So after we have payload separation, go ahead and check that episode.
Changing the gravitational pull. Another idea which is out there is to potentially detonate a nuclear device.
It's going to take about 2 days before we can totally confirm the orbit. That's quite a long time, but it's got to make some maneuvers and get some distance before we will see exactly how accurate things are. Hopefully SpaceX was able to nail it.
Yeah, and the spacecraft does have onboard propulsion. There's hydrogen and then there's ion propulsion, so it should be able to do some fine-tune maneuvering on the way.
Yeah. Rich, you go get yourself some breakfast before that gets closed down. Glad you were able to pop in and chat with us. And we'll see you soon.
Cause serious regional damage only happens every few thousand years or longer. Still, it's a good idea to protect us against that possibility, and the rule of the game is find asteroids before they find us.
Yeah, my usual alarm just went off a couple of minutes ago.
To observe the sky pretty much every single night to find.
So that's the time I usually wake up.
And we've been doing a pretty good job at that. So far, we've discovered more than 1 million asteroids, including 95% of the asteroids that are greater than 1 kilometer and that could come close to the Earth. Once we discover an asteroid, we project its motion into the future.
Random TV Lee, the problem is not so much the digital turnaround as it takes a minute for the signal to get to us. You know, for instance, anything on Mars, it's a 5-minute delay. 5 to 8 minutes, depending on where the Earth and Mars are in their orbits, and you know it just takes time for that signal to travel that far. I mean, it's going to take roughly a year for DART to reach its target. So it's the impact is happening quite a ways out there. So it's gonna take a minute for that signal to get to us. So it's not gonna be completely live.
Hey Daryl, joining me right now is SmartNav lead Michelle Chen. Michelle, give us some insights into what you call the brains of the spacecraft. How will SmartNav allow DART to identify its target and stay on that target for the whole 4 hours before impact?
Right, so at 4 hours is when SmartNav starts controlling the spacecraft. And if you imagine that you're the spacecraft and you're looking at the Didymos system, you're going to see the Didymos system and Didymos itself. And at about an hour to go is when
next see is the next generation ion engine from NASA. And those roll-out solar panels that are on the spacecraft are kind of too big for the spacecraft because they are used to power the ion engine and test how it works.
Yeah, and the ion engine is there mostly for testing purposes, if I remember correctly. They've got the hydrazine for maneuvering and accelerating and everything, but the ion engine is there so that they can test it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think they had about 40 kilograms of xenon propellant or xenon gas for propellant, and I think they said they will use about maximum of 10 kilograms.
Yeah.
8 years ago,
and then, you know, as things get further from the sun, they also need larger solar panels in order to get the same amount of power. So they're oversized a little bit for that as well.
We're going to be sitting in the passenger seat, watching our child drive,
Yes, I agree, Jude. The thruster test is almost as big a deal. We do need to be working on the on those other types of thrusters. You know, we can't the
All right, thank you both.
the thruster, that kind of thruster and engine is not real useful for liftoff, but once you're in space, it's a lot more beneficial. You know, you can build up your delta V slowly over time, and get to where you need to be with a lot less energy and a lot less mass uh, to get there. So it saves on overall mass that needs to be put up. So the better we get those things working, the better things are. You know, we'll be able to get more things to where we need them to do more science and exploration and things.
Yeah, and thanks, Yoni. I actually didn't know that. So Yoni says DART was supposed to be on a rideshare mission and used the ion engine to make its orbit all the way on to the asteroids, but it got its own rocket from SpaceX, so that's not needed.
I don't even know what that term means, Mr. Director. Quit throwing your English terminology at me. We got more banter going on in Discord.
Yeah, indeed, Anton. Impact is in October of next year, and maybe we will try to live stream that. It will be interesting to see, and I hope to be watching it live. And yeah, Jude, another reconfiguration would be that they were supposed to have another spacecraft watching it from a far away. It would have been an ESA spacecraft, but that got cancelled, and there's now just one that will deploy a small CubeSat called Lichia Cube.
Which ESA funded, didn't they? Did they fund it or build it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was built by the Italian Space Agency.
Oh, that's right, Italian. That'd be another good episode to do one on the Italian Space Agency.
Yeah.
Another one I think we should do. We got a lot of comments on Reddit about docking ports on the ISS. And I think we need to do at least a quick take, maybe even a deep dive on the different ports and the iterations they've gone through. What ports are ISRO using? What ports are China using? I believe there's 3 different ports on the ISS.
Yeah, there would be. Yeah, I think it's 3. 2 would be used for autonomous docking. There's the one Russia uses, and then there's the international docking adapter that SpaceX and Boeing use. And then for berthing, there's the bigger port that, well, even the international docking adapter is connected to the ports that were used to birth earlier cargo dragons.
Yeah, the earlier port was a lot bigger.
Yeah. So if there's anything sizable going up to the station, it may have to be used again.
And what was it like seeing the launch today?
Although SpaceX can't do it anymore.
Expect so much, but then when you just saw it like light up through the sky and sort of change the things.
Yeah, because they've shifted to the international.
It's really real, you know, and
size
but in
port.
some ways this is just getting started
Yeah.
onto this
Cygnus uses the international port as well, don't they?
Actually, no. Yeah. Cygnus could do it. Actually, they still use the older one.
Back to you, Daryl.
And that's a good thing. So there's a bit of redundancy because there's just 2 ports for the IDA.
Thanks to an Italian CubeSat that will jettison from
But yeah, that'd be a fun one, especially when you start looking at the other things going on. You know, we don't know a lot about what any of the commercial stations will be using. I would assume that they will be the commercial stations would be on the international docking adapter, but maybe
yeah,
not.
I would think so.
At the time, the Italian Space Agency was.
Oh yeah, and the Nanoracks uses the larger port too. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think modules would use the bigger one, and spacecraft docking would use the smaller one.
That will support the DART mission. Anyway, we were somehow, contacted.
And when SpaceX will dock Starship with something, they may even.
No, wouldn't it be the other way around when something docks to Starship?
Pretty much, yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if they design a bigger port.
It would make sense to have a larger port for something like that.
Yeah,
but it also makes a lot of sense to just standardize things. Even for redundancy and safety purposes. I mean, if something goes wrong on any of these current or future stations that are going up there, the ability to get into an escape craft and go and dock with something else without stress or worry would be quite beneficial. Yeah, Axiom is using the IDA for the most part. I don't know if they have any secondary options that they're putting on there, but I believe everything is going to be the IDA. Or they might even have a proprietary port for where they're mounting the different modules together. They haven't. I don't know if they've really released a lot of the specs, but just a general design.
Yeah, probably not too much detail. Yeah, there would be docking ports for other spacecraft, but if the modules they dock to ISS, I think those would still use the older, bigger port. Maybe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And we have limited resources on board as a CubeSat.
But that does mean they will have to use the same standard for their own space station if they use it for ISS.
And we will try to be out of our plane, have a good illumination of the scene, and then we will look at the plume that will be generated.
But we are almost done with 2021. What is our audience excited about coming up in 2022? We've talked about quite a few different things on the stream already for what is coming on fairly, at least the first half of 2022. But what are all of you the most excited about coming up in 2022? Let's hear what you're excited about.
And while you think on that, The
cameras. One
payload
is with
deploy
a
will
narrow
be in
field of
just a
view, and
couple
the
of
other has a
minutes.
wider field of view. So they have complementary functions in the action.
And real quickly, how
But
close will
I
the
think I
vehicle
would
come to
be
the asteroid?
looking
Well,
forward
we had a
to the
trade-off in this
Starship
decision,
orbital
and
launch the
in the
most.
end, the proper distance at the closest approach will be around
Good night,
2.5
Anton.
kilometers. This
Anton,
again a safe
stay here
distance
for
that is good
just a
enough
couple
for
of
a
minutes so you
resolution
see
on the
the payload
surface
deploy.
about 1 meter per
Under 2
pixel.
minutes.
That will allow us to have good information on also on the morphology of the surface, maybe the crater. Crater is not completely sure that we can image because the plume can cover it.
2021 is a botch job because 2021. I see what you did there, Judy.
Our flybys, we can have a complete
Well
modeling
said.
of how the materials will be released.
That's fantastic. Simone Parada from the Italian Space
I
Agency.
I,
Thank you so
I
much for
am
SLS.
excited for SLS. Yes,
Absolutely.
SLS and Starship. We have what is potentially
My
4
daughter wants
Falcon
this
Heavy
back, so I
launches.
get back to Italy.
All right, let's check in with
I think
Vulcan
just
Centaur.
but still
3.
3. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Daryl and Kelly. It was a very interesting conversation. We are about 45 seconds or so from
Okay, so just
spacecraft
about
separation
30
and the
seconds
Falcon
till
9
payload
second
deploy.
stage, and DART will be over the Indian Ocean near Madagascar. And then the job of the Falcon 9 rocket will be officially complete for this mission.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the job of Falcon 9 was to get DART on its way to the Didymos system. At this point, we've gotten enough velocity, enough speed to send DART off towards the Didymos system. And right now, we're in range of the ground station, so we can get all the data from, and so we can make sure we can actually capture the separation event.
Look at that.
We just heard the call out for spacecraft separation. You can see the video.
There it goes.
DART spacecraft on its way, heading on its way to the Didymos system.
What a spectacular
Congratulations, SpaceX.
DART.
Yep.
Just floating away from the Falcon 9 second stage.
And you can see the sun off to the side there as DART drifts away from the Falcon 9 second stage.
And so this officially begins almost a year of cruise for the DART spacecraft, flying through on its way to the Didymos system. And at the time that it impacts Dimorphos,
Yes, Anton, there's a lot going on in the UK next year. Shetland Spaceport will be doing its first launch in a very long time. There are previous launches that happened from there, but it's been decades. So that will be exciting. So many exciting things coming up in 2022. A lot of small companies doing things. And I love the Alpaca. It is just a fantastically looking design. I really hope Dynetics is able to pull something off there. Would love to see that fly.
Yeah, absolutely. And well said, Anton. Planetary defense was just born now.
Yeah, and at this point, the launch vehicle has done its job, and we just want to make sure we basically hear from the DART.
Well, Mr. Producer, a sounding rocket is still a rocket.
You think about it, it's kind of like getting off of a roller coaster, right? You know, you step off the roller coaster, you know, you kind of stay.
But yeah, I think we should start wrapping it up because I do have to start working on the real job.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening, this morning. Congratulations again, once again, to SpaceX. We're glad we were able to bring this coverage to you. We are going to start winding things down here. I'm Astro Roadie. I try to be available on these streams pretty much every time we go live. Not quite all the time, but most of the time I'm able to be here. And we're so glad to be here. So glad you were able to join us. And Mikko, do you have a few words to say to the audience on the way out the door?
Yeah, it was great to watch this launch with you, and hopefully you will be there for the next one. And go ahead and check out my deep dive episode about DART. That's on our channel. And yeah, See you next time.